Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 3. Now this is going to be my review for Episode 1. It is finally here. I'm as excited as the next person, but it was a pretty damn cool episode. Now there will be spoilers in this review, obviously just a heads up. So if you haven't watched it, I would go watch the episode first, then come back and share your opinions with everyone else down in the comments section below. But let's jump straight into it. So obviously this episode is called Flashpoint, but it wasn't the traditional story which would have been way too complex and hard to make work on the TV show. But I am going to go over my favourite parts of the episode and point out anything that does need to be spoken about in more detail. I did like how the episode started off really action-packed, which was quite unexpected. I did think we were going to get a Barry and Iris scene straight off the bat, but that is quickly interrupted by a fight between both the rival and Kid Flash. That move that the rival used was pretty damn sick. Similar to Barry throwing lightning, but it was almost like a machine gun. And I'm not gonna lie, I did like Kid Flash's cockiness. Barry definitely has the moves when getting that chat with Iris going, like taking her wallet. Except when he starts babbling when asking Iris out for a drink, which I thought was pretty funny. We got our first Easter egg for the episode where the Flashpoint captain of the Central City Police Department, Julio Mendez. Now if you did not know this, Julio Mendez was a character in the 1990s Flash show with the Flash being played by Barry Allen's dad. And he was actually the lab partner of Barry Allen from what I remember on that show. We finally got to see the aftermath of the Season 2 finale with Barry taking the Reverse Flash forward in time to where they are now and locking him up in that cage. Which makes sense if you think about it. The chemistry between those two is great, and I cannot wait to see more Reverse Flash on both The Flash this season as well as Legend of Tomorrow, which he will be a part of the Legion of Doom, which should be pretty cool. The first shot of the Allen family back together was enough to make a grown man cry. It was great to see them all back together again, especially because we all knew that it wasn't going to last that long. I'll tell you one thing, it was weird seeing Joe the way he was in the Flashpoint timeline, but at least Barry is saving his ass, even though Joe is a bit ungrateful for it. But one thing that was really strange was seeing the relationship between Joe and Iris being so frosty, which then comes to a head at the end of the episode, which I'll reference. We did get to see some of Barry's memories disappearing, which was expected, we sort of got a hint of that in the trailer. But it was cool seeing Barry unmasking Wally after he was defeated by the rival, along with learning that Wally's speedster origins were around the engine. If you remember in Season 2 it was like his project, but in the Flashpoint timeline he actually develops it, and when he's driving it around he gets struck by lightning and it fuses with him, and that's how he got his speed. Meeting Flashpoint Cisco was hilarious. We learned that he bought the old Star Labs building, so I wasn't sure if we were going to get a Harrison Wells appearance, but we didn't get it, so I was sort of disappointed about that. Cisco made Wally's suit, and that is like the connection between Cisco and the other people. Barry seemed to be losing memories of whoever he interacted with, and whenever he brought up memories of those certain people, which Reverse Flash basically gives him a big, I told you so, and tells Barry the more he uses his speed, and the more he, talks to people and stuff like that, the faster he forgets who he was. The bringing together of the Flashpoint versions of Team Flash was pretty funny, especially finding out that Caitlin is an eye doctor, well actually correction, a pediatric eye doctor. The battle between Kid Flash and the Flash looked like it was going to be pretty damn cool, all until Wally decided to get impaled. Learning that the rival was Edward Claris wasn't that surprising, it is his name in the comics. But when he created those twisters, it was pretty unexpected, but I did like Cisco's reference to the Weather Wizard. And that whole sequence was very reminiscent of the first episode of Season 1. The realization that Barry has to revert everything back to how it was pretty heavy, especially when Reverse Flash forced Barry to basically ask him to kill his mother. Having to see Nora die again was pretty tough, but Reverse Flash's warning at the end will set up the rest of the season to come, and the timeline is going to be slightly different from what we saw in Seasons 1 and 2, and we do see an instant impact of what Barry has done as we learn that Joe and Iris do not speak to each other, similar to what was in the Flashpoint timeline, but in that case it was like Wally and Iris didn't speak to Joe, and what it seems is happening here is just like Joe doesn't speak to Iris, but Wally still speaks to Joe. But the big reveal at the end was awesome. We see the non-Flashpoint Edward Claris contacted by Dr. Alchemy. Now, his name was inscribed on the mirror, so I don't know if that has anything to do with Mirror Master, which if you go back to my original trailer, I referenced that. I was like, okay, is Dr. Alchemy working with Mirror Master? Is that how he's writing his name on this mirror? But I guess we'll have to wait until next episode or a future episode to find out. But overall, I thought this episode was really, really good. I'm surprised they managed to fit so much in this episode. There was no downtime. It was action-packed, a lot of story stuff, and a lot of setup for the rest of the season to come, which is really, really strong for an episode to do. I would be lying if I said I wasn't disappointed that it was only one episode. I would have preferred if they maybe did it 2 or 3 episodes, but if there's a reason as to why it's only one episode and they want to keep the season going and they had to get out of that Flashpoint timeline to do so, then I understand. But we'll have to wait until we see the rest of the season until we judge, oh okay, it was good that they only did it in one episode and didn't stretch it to 2 or 3. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. Leave any of your opinions in the comment section down below and start some conversations with other people and give what you liked about the episode and, you know, share some opinions of what you might not have liked about the episode. And if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe. I'll catch you later, guys. Goodbye.